Welcome to Pink with an Egyptian. I'm your girl, Pink Isis, and on this channel, we learn, we grow, we teach, we thrive, and we become the best versions of ourselves. Today's video will be 10 tips on successful co-parenting, okay? This is for the parents that have to co-parent with the person that you have created life with. So today we're gonna leave with 10 great, wonderful, amazing tips to apply to your co-parenting situation to improve the quality of life for you, the father or mother of your child and your children. And first of all, how are you guys doing today? How are we doing? Okay, I'm happy to hear that we're doing good. Now that we're doing good, let's get into the video. So first tip in successful co-parenting is you have to leave the past in the past. So you need to decide whether you're going to leave the past in the past, or you and the mother or father of your child are going to sit down and come into an agreement or discuss whatever the past is. Regardless of what you choose to do, you have to make the decision to leave the past in the past, either agree to disagree and move on, but whatever issues that were going on that did not involve the child, you have to understand and make a conscious decision as an adult to leave those issues in the past. Because in co-parenting and being a parent, your focus should primarily be on your child, not about what happened in the past relationships, not all the issues that occurred. Your focus, both of your focus should definitely be on the child. So agree to disagree or completely forgive the past and forget the past and move on. But that's the first step. Next, focus. So when I say focus on you and your child, you should not be focused on what the mother or father of your child is doing. You should not be focused on who they're dating and what's going on in their life. That should not be your focus. You should be focused on you and your child and how you can improve and make your lives better. Now, in the event that something that the mother or father of your child is doing that could possibly negatively affect your child, then at that time, that's when you have a conversation with the other parent. But other than that, focus on you and your child. What the other parent has going on has nothing to do with you. And focusing on you and your child will help you to easily forgive the past, focus and create the future that you and your child deserve. And it also will cut down on a lot of drama. Don't focus on what they got going on, and don't focus on what nobody else got going on. Focus on thyself. Focus on thyself, okay? Moving documentation. So if you guys have gone through custody disputes and there is constant drama, constant bickering, and you already have a child support order or some type of order, keep document. And if there will be any changes made to the order, you need to make sure that's done in documentation. If there's any special circumstances that arise in the midst of this custody order or custody ordeal, make sure you are keeping proper documentation that this is to protect you and to protect the other parent as well. But make sure you're backing yourself up. The other parent is very negligent or all types of things. Make sure that you're keeping proper documentation. This way, when you're going to the authorities or anyone that you need to go and speak to, you have your proof. In reference to that order, keep documentation and try to abide by that order as much as possible unless there is a written agreement or written change with that order with both parties. Other than that, abide by the order as much as possible. Moving on. Respect goes a long way, and a lot of people forget this. Respect is not something that should be earned. That's number one. You should be able to respect an individual and they should be able to respect you. That's not something that has to be earned or you have to do loops and hoops and all of that stuff to get respect. Respect should be given. Now, once you give a person a reason to not respect you, that's another story. But respect is not something that should be earned. You should be respectful, period. Like, if I'm being respectful to you, why can't you be respectful back? When it comes down to parenting, we have to always remember that what we do, what we say, and what we show our children are what they are going to create their life based off. So if you and your other parent are arguing and constantly bickering and fighting in front of your child, that's what they're going to look for in the future. That's the relationships that will automatically attract them in the future. So regardless of what you or the other parent has done in the past, regardless of what they've said in the past, when you are in front of your child, you need to be respectful with each other. When you are in front of your child or children, you definitely need to be respectful. And even when you're having private conversations, be respectful. There's no reason why you got to call each other out, each other's names, and you got to be nasty with each other. Why can't y'all have respectful conversations? Because respect truly goes a long way. Respect allows you to clearly see the truth in certain situations. A lot of times when we're angry and we're not able to listen and understand what's coming out of the other parent's mouth, it's because we're still harboring pain from the past. So what is it that you need to let go? That's why I said the first step in successful co-parenting is making amends with the past. Either you're going to address the elephant in the room or you're going to keep it moving. But whatever the case is, you have to handle that first. This way you're not going backwards when y'all get into arguments and you're not bringing up issues that happened 5, 10, 15 years ago. Let it go. Address the past, but respect each other. You should be respecting each other privately and publicly, but definitely when the children are around and when you guys are together. And if you can't have a respectful conversation with the other parent of your child, that's another video for another day. Respect is a must. In any type of agreement, in any situation, there has to be respect, because without respect, there's room for a lot of unclarity and a lot of uncertainty. And that's where drama and problems arise. So let's be respectful. You have to have an understanding that both parents are equally responsible for the child or children. So although there is primarily one parent, usually the mother, but in some cases the father, that has custody of the child, even though that parent has custody, you are equally responsible. So if we both created a child and I'm taking care of the child majority of the time and the child is living with me majority of the time, we are still equal parents in this. The only difference is our child lives with me majority of the time. We're still equal parents. So that means that the mother and the father are both equally responsible for making sure that child gets to the doctor, making sure that child gets to the hospital when he or she is sick, making sure that child gets to school, making sure that child gets home from school, making sure daycare is handled, making sure the finances that the child needs for daycare, school, healthcare, whatever, is equally yoked between both parents. And this is a huge downfall in a lot of marriages, a lot of relationships, and a lot of parenting relationships, because we always put the blame and the weight on one person. And usually the weight is placed on the mother. The weight is placed on the mother to get the child back and forth to all the appointments, the doctor's visits, everything that they need to do. But what about the father, or what about the other parent? That's not fair. And so whenever you have a situation where there is one individual where most of the weight is placed upon when there should be two, there's always going to be a conflict, because it's not fair in any way, shape, or form. So how can you address that? Making sure that you and the other parent understand this is an equal party. All of the weight should not just be on me. All of the weight should not just be on you. We are in this equally. So if I'm at work and you're at work and I get a phone call from school telling me that our child is sick and I have to go pick our child up from school, I just started this job, I can't leave, can I count on you? That's what you should be able to do as a parent, And there has been so many years and so many movies and shows and situations that shine the light on the woman being the sole person in charge of making sure their child is straight, and the father only handles the finances. That's not fair, because in this day and age, women work, they cook, they clean, they take care of their children, they do all of that. And most of them don't even have a man who does it. So if you have created a life with me, you are equally responsible for taking care of this life just as well as I am. Be consistent. A very important tip in any type of parenting that we have is being consistent. Don't make false promises that you can't keep. So if you know that you can't take your child to football practice on Friday, don't promise it. If you know you can't get your child that game, the game machine that they want, they've been begging for forever, stop promising them that. Stop it. And when you tell your child that they can come to your house, or when you tell your child that you're going to do something and be there for them, be there, or don't say it. Because a lot of times the custodial parent has to deal with the lies and has to deal with their child when their child is hurt by the other parent because the other parent hasn't fulfilled their obligations or their promises. Stop making promises you can't keep, and understand that as a parent, you don't have to make any promises, and you don't have to be this perfect parent or this perfect person. That's where a lot of people get mixed up in life. We try our best to be perfect. Perfect does not exist. And when it comes down to parenting, the perfect tip when it comes down to parenting is don't try to be the perfect parent. Be the understanding parent. Be the parent that disciplines their child, but also make sure the child understands why they're being disciplined. Be the parent that listens to their child, that loves their child, that teaches their child. But don't try to be something that you're not. Because whenever you're trying to be something you're not, you're always going to lose. Be yourself, and that's your child, the child that came from you, or the child that was created by you. You don't have to be anything more than what you are. Be a loving parent. Be a responsible parent. Be a consistent parent. Be a parent that your child can depend on. That's what children need. You should be communicating with your child daily. The other parent should be able to communicate with their child daily. So whatever needs to occur so that the other parent can communicate with their child, that's what needs to happen. But both parents should be communicating with their child daily. Very interesting one, but we're going to get into it. So if you are moving on or you are in a relationship with whoever, and you feel as though that relationship is getting serious, and this is somebody that could potentially be a long-term partner or a lifetime partner or someone you could see yourself with. If this is someone that's going to be around your child and around the other parent's child, it's time to meet. It's time for everyone to have a big family meeting. Okay, as a parent, I do not believe in you having individuals around your child or children that the other parent hasn't at least met or knows about. How would you feel if you let your child go to the other parent's house and your child comes back telling you that it was X, Y, and Z over there? No, that's not appropriate. So if you know that you're about to get into a commitment, a relationship, or let alone another person is going to be around your child, the other parent definitely needs to know. And it should not be, it doesn't have to be an argument, because again, when you have let the past stay in the past, everything is not an argument. And as an adult, if you do not know how to take constructive criticism, and if you don't know how to have a conversation without arguing or without raising your voice or without turning into a monster, then that's another story for another day. You have a much bigger problem than co-parenting. But we're going to move on. Next, when situations arise between both parents or even your child, are you listening to respond, or are we listening to understand? Because again, it goes back to what I said, step number one, let the past be the past. Because what happens when we don't forgive the past or let the past stay in the past is a situation arises with your child. So now you have to get in touch with the other parent, and you're explaining to the other parent what happened, and now all of a sudden your mind then resorted back to 5 years ago when the other parent had cheated on you. Now y'all getting into an argument. He or she is responding back to you in reference to this case, and all you can see is the past. And now the lines is blurred and it's a whole chaotic mess. Let the past be the past and understand, truly understand. Because if you're angry or you have a thought in the back of your mind, or you already have your mind made up in a certain situation, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be really hard to change your mind. It's going to be hard to change your mind. However, if you step into the situation with an open mind and the understanding that I'm going to hear this person out, I'm going to listen to understand what it is that they're actually saying. And if it's BS, I'm going to call them out on the BS. If they're trying to manipulate me, I'm going to call them out. But I will be able to see clearly exactly what this individual is trying to do to me, because I am fully open optimistically. My mind is open. I'm not shunned out mentally. My mind isn't pessimistic. So I can clearly understand and see what this person is trying to do to me. So are they truly trying to say their truth or speak their truth? Are they truly trying to help and improve the situation? Or are they trying to play with me? Whatever the case is, I can see clearly because I've forgiven the past. And now I am presently in this moment. So what is the situation? And that's how we have to be. Not even with just co-parenting, in any aspect of our life, we have to be present. Because if you're still thinking about the past or resorting back to the past, you're never going to be able to address the elephant in the room or the present situation correctly, because your mind is still going back to the past. We have to remain present. Remain present and listen to understand. We listen to understand. We close that second ear that's telling us that this person's doing X, Y, and Z. We close that ear and we keep both ears open to the truth. And when you have both ears open to the truth and your mind is fully open to understanding, you will always find the truth. Next, you and the other parent should both be spreading love and teaching love and pouring love into your child. So what I say when I mean this, you should never talk down on the other parent to your child. The other parent should never talk down on you to your child. You guys have to remember, and we have to remember as adults, we are adults, but we all have an inner child. And we all were children once before too, at some point in our lives. And we know how that felt. People said certain things to us, and we have to remember that. Even though we are adults, we still have an inner child inside of us. And now that we have children, we have to be mindful of what we are telling them, what we're pouring into them, and what we're saying to them. Are you pouring love into your child? Are you focusing on loving and comforting and making your child feel warm and protected? Or are you spilling hate into them? Are you teaching your child to hate the other parent? Are you teaching your child to hate themselves? What are you teaching your child? And how are you loving yourself? Because again, the greatest teacher for a child is the parent. How are you loving and adoring and honoring yourself? Because if you're not doing that to yourself, your child isn't going to do that to him or herself. They don't know. Children can only do what they have been taught or what they learn or what they see. Make sure that you're teaching your child exactly what they need to know. And the other parent should be doing the same thing. We have got to stop preaching hate to our children. We have got to stop showing them hateful videos, hateful movies, all types of things, especially as children. Because this is creating the reality. We want them to be happy, positive, free-flowing, and going with the flow, but always optimistic and keeping an eye open to the truth. And understanding that life is full of illusion. It's full of secrets. It's full of puzzle pieces. It's full of many different things. Life is a journey. And when you know yourself, the journey through life is a breeze. And lastly, the last tip I will say is prayer. Prayer can change many things. And sometimes co-parenting relationships and situations are not the easiest. They're not the easiest to deal with for many reasons. A lot of times we haven't addressed elephants in the room. A lot of times we're not over the parent. A lot of times there is mess or drama going on around situations or outsiders getting involved in the situations. And there's a lot of things that occur and it makes us feel like it's out of our control or out of our hands. But prayer always fixes it. Always fixes it. God always has a plan. And a lot of times when it comes to God, he just wants to listen to us. He just wants to hear our voice. He just wants you to tell him your problems so he can correct it. There's a song called So Small by Carrie Underwood, and I often play this song. That song, it says, sometimes that mountain you've been climbing is just a grain of sand. And what you've been out there searching for forever is in your hand. So sometimes we can go through experiences in life or meet individuals in life and we'll feel like this is the end of the world. It's over. I don't want to date again. I don't want to love again. I don't want to do anything again. It's never over. As long as you wake up with breath in your body, that's a sign that God's not done with you. And that's also a sign that you have a second chance. Ask for forgiveness for whatever it is and it will be given. Ask and you shall receive. But if you're not asking, you may not receive it. A lot of times we think that we're over the past and we're not over the past. And sometimes God will place you in a situation so he can remind you that you're not fully healed from something that you thought you were. And sometimes when we ignore what he has to say, he will constantly place you in certain similar situations to continue to remind you, you are not where you need to be, but you're getting there. You're getting there. But prayer changes so many things. Talk to God about it. Don't worry, don't stress. Talk to God about it. Be the best mother or father that you can be, and pray that your co-parenting union can become successful one day. Pray that you and the other parent can parent your child successfully to the best of your abilities, and that your child grows up to be healthy, happy, respectful, and God-fearing. But whatever the case is, don't worry, don't stress, just pray. Okay, so there you have it, beautiful individuals. I'm sure that you guys were able to take some successful tips from this video and simple tricks or tips on co-parenting. So if this video resonated with you guys in any way, shape, or form, please make sure that you like and subscribe. And if you guys are feeling generous and would like to leave a tip, I have my tip jar listed in the description below. And if this is where I leave you guys, thank you so much for tuning into Pink with an Egyptian. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. Bye.